Hey, good morning, Tigers. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. It is beautiful outside today. So I am coming to you live from our fire pit in my little community. As I think I told you, sorry, there's some hawks circling around. I live in downtown Roswell, and so this is my little community. You can see this is my fire pit. Let's see, my house is over there. It's hard to see on this screen, but it's right kind of behind that bush. So this is where I live. It's pretty fun. There's 17 houses in it. So always somebody doing something. So super duper fun. But we have a community dog park. Maybe I'll film from there one day. And we also have a community fire pit, and then just some common space and some what my kids call secret gardens, some secret garden kind of space. So good to see everybody out there. Hope everybody is doing well. All right, so let me grab my stuff. Okay, if my neighbors saw me, they'd be like, "What's Becky doing? She's crazy." Okay, so here we go. As you guys know, this is a brain cell. Tell me, how many brain cells do we have in our brains? About 100 billion brain cells. Now, they are not this big. They are usually so tiny that you have to look under a microscope to see them. But this is kind of what they look like. These are all the parts: the dendrites, the myelin sheath, the axon terminals. Okay, so pretty cool. I know some of you guys, there's at least 2 or 3 that said that when you grow up, you would like to be a neurosurgeon. Anytime you see the word neuro, you're talking about neurons, brain cells. So some of you guys when you grow up, want to work on the brain, like a doctor for the brain. That is pretty cool. All right, so one day you might be a neurosurgeon. Today, we are going to learn about Rosie Revere, engineer. I'm going to read this story to you. It's one of my favorites. It's about a 2nd grader who kind of gave up her dreams because she thought people were making fun of her, and she got super shy. And then I've got a giveaway, another set of giveaways. So super exciting. Let me see. I'm working solo today. So I'm bouncing on an Adirondack chair while trying to read. This is super fun. Okay. So, Rosie Revere, engineer. Okay, that's Rosie right there. There's got to be a better way. Hold on. Maybe I'll do squats. Can we even see this? Okay. All right. I will be doing this while doing squats. That sounds like a lot of fun, said no Miss Grandstaff ever. Okay. Let me see. Can you guys see the pictures? Okay. This is the story of Rosie Revere, who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Lila Greer's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rosie sat shyly, not daring to speak. But when nobody saw her, she peeked in the trash for treasures to add to her engineer stash. And late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under the eaves. And this is the part where you're like, what's an eave? An eave is like the little hidden spaces in an attic. Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made gadgets and gizmos she loved. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her machines far under the bed where they'd never be seen. Oh, let me see. Hang tight, guys. When Rosie was young, she had not been so shy. She worked with her hair swooping over one eye and made fine inventions for uncles and aunts, a hot dog dispenser and helium pants. See the helium pants? You see the hot dog dispenser? Okay. The uncle she loved most was zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep snakes off his head, from parts of a fan and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps the pythons away. There's zookeeper Fred. And when it was finished, young Rosie was proud, but Fred slapped his knee and he chuckled out loud. He laughed till he wheezed and his eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who stood there embarrassed, perplexed, and dismayed. She looked at the cheese hat and then looked away. "I love it," Fred hooted. "Oh, truly I do." But Rosie Revere knew this could not be true. She stuck the cheese hat on the back of the shelf, and after that day kept her dreams to herself. And that's how it went until one autumn day her oldest relation showed up for a stay. Her great-great-aunt Rose was a true dynamo who worked building airplanes a long time ago. She told Rosie tales of things she had done and goals she had checked off her list one by one. She gave a sad smile and she looked to the sky. "The only thrill left I have on my list is to fly. But time never lingers as long as it seems. We'll chalk that one up to an old lady's dreams." So isn't that something? She used to build airplanes, but she has never flown on an airplane. That night, as Rosie lied wide-eyed in bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build a gizmo to help her aunt fly? She looked at the cheese hat and said, "No, not I." But questions are tricky and some hold on tight. But this one kept Rosie awake through the night. So when dawn approached and red streaks lit the sky, young Rosie just knew how to make her aunt fly. She worked and she worked till the day was half gone, then hauled her cheese copter out to the lawn to give her invention a test just to see the ridiculous flop it might turn out to be. Strapped to the copter, she flipped on the switch. The helicopter cheese copter sputtered and twitched. It floated a moment and whirled round and round, and then froze for a heartbeat and crashed to the ground. Then Rosie heard laughter, turned round to see the old woman laughing and slapping her knee. She laughed and she wheezed. She laughed till she wheezed, her eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who thought, "Oh no, never, not ever again will I try to build something to sputter or spin, or build with a lever, a switch, or a gear, and never will I be a great engineer." Then round to leave, she turned around to leave, but the great-great-aunt Rose grabbed hold of young Rosie and pulled her in close, and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. "You did it! Hooray! It's a perfect first try! The great flop is over. It's time for the next." Young Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, perplexed. "I failed," said dear Rosie. "It's just made of trash. Didn't you see it? The cheese copter crashed." "Yes," said her great aunt, "it crashed, that is true, but first it did just what it needed to do. Before it crashed, Rosie, before that, it flew. Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next. She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit. And we know at Trit, we are not quitters. They worked till the sun sneaked around away to its bed. Aunt Rose tied her headscarf around Rosie's head and sent her to sleep with a smile ear to ear, to dream the bold dreams of a great engineer. At Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade 2 build gizmos and gadgets and doohickeys too. With each perfect failure, they all stand and cheer, but none quite as proudly as Rosie Revere. The end. All right. Great story. So Rosie had to use what we talk about all the time at Trit, a growth mindset. And sometimes things are not going to go the way that you wanted them to at first. That is okay. You take a deep breath, you think, and then you say, what could I do differently? And sometimes you might have to do a little bit of research. Sometimes you might have to seek out some experts. Sometimes you might have to ask your loved ones questions. Okay? But that's all about a growth mindset. The greatest inventors did not make it the first time. Remember, we talk about the Edison, it took him like 9,999 times before the light bulb was invented. Right? J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter's publisher, the Harry Potter's author that did the series, was rejected by 13 different publishers before somebody took a chance. So growth mindset tells us that we need to keep trying, okay? Keep working on it, keep thinking, and sometimes we go back and try it again and again. Hopefully in slightly different ways so that the outcome changes a little bit. All right. So I have had to use a growth mindset today. This filming did not go quite as smoothly as I was thinking. So I had to kind of juggle the laptop, juggle the books, and that's okay. That is okay. Next time I do this, I am going to have a different filming plan. Okay? All right. So I showed you a little bit about my community today. So we are coming from my fire pit. To be honest, I've only used my fire pit, I think, twice. So I think in the coming up week, I probably owe it to my kids to do a little fire pit night. That probably seems pretty fair. Okay. The great giveaways. Riley Will Hoyt, your name was selected for this. Okay, so Mike and Ike's will be dropped off to you. Pretty cool. And then our giveaway today, we are being sponsored by my friends at Farmhouse in the City, which is a great little party place right here in Roswell. And we have a truck crayon set with a big bunch of multi-theme coloring pages. So we have a whole bunch of coloring pages. So that will be given away soon as well. So what I do when I do my giveaways is I usually just tie it to a mailbox. I wait for a nice day, like I couldn't send out some giveaways the last couple days. Wait for a nice day, and then I put it on your mailbox. And that is how I do the giveaways. All right, let me see. I'm only like a minute 14, and you guys know I'm obsessed with you. I like to spend time with you, so I'm trying to think about what else you might want to see. I was thinking, I'm looking over here over my laptop, and I was thinking you might want to see my favorite tree. So the cool thing is, even though we're doing social distancing, we can still get out and play. In the next 5 days or so, my mom said are supposed to be nice. So we can still get out and play. So here is my favorite tree. It's called a red bud. You can kind of see it's got pretty flowers. And then it goes into leaves. It's really pretty. You can see it from up there. My favorite part about the red bud tree is that the leaves are the shape of hearts. True story. So when you get a red bud leaf, it is like a perfect heart, which I think is really kind of cute. So here's the tree from where I'm looking at. Over, do you see it? You see him? Yeah. Okay. So the red bud tree is my favorite. So if you have not picked out a favorite tree in your yard or your neighborhood, maybe you can do that today. Find a favorite tree and you just say, you are my favorite tree. You could name your tree. This guy doesn't have a name yet. Maybe by the end of this, all the trees in my yard will have a name. So that's pretty fun. So red bud tree. All right, so Miss Edwards will be here tomorrow. But I want you guys today to really practice growth mindset. Really thinking hard about what to do when things don't work out quite right the first time. How to go back, calm your body, and then rethink about what you need to do differently next time. Okay? Even at 44, you guys know I am not afraid of my age. Even at 44, every day, I am using a growth mindset. So this is a lifelong skill. It's not a skill that goes away once you graduate school. It's a skill that we have to use every day, even in grown-up world. All right. It is about time for me to go, and I hate to leave you guys, but I know that you guys are busy people too. But thank you for spending time with me today. Thank you for watching me as I juggle at the fire pit and try to read you Rosie Revere, Engineer. And I will see you guys next time, okay? All right. Bye, friends. Bye. 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 Okay. Gonna do it.